Hello, and welcome to my short presentation. My name is Dave Preece, and in April 2015, I aim to cycle from Land's End to John O Groats on my Penny Farthing bike. At this point, you might be wondering, what has that got to do with this churchyard? Well, buried here at St John's Church in Shirley, Croydon, lies somebody who earned his place in Land's End to John O Groats history. The person in question was George Pilkington Mills, and he is my ultimate cycling hero. He was born in 1867 and he passed away in 1945. He is buried here with his wife Mary Ann Stacey Mills, who passed away in 1939. During the course of his life, George set many remarkable cycling distance records. Some of those records still remain unbeaten to this day. Now, George was best known for his various Land's End to John O Groats records, and the following is a summary of those rides. In 1891, by bicycle on pneumatic tyres, 4 days, 11 hours, 17 minutes. In 1894, again by bicycle, pneumatic tyres, 3 days, 5 hours, 49 minutes. In 1886, tricycle on solid tyres, 5 days, 10 hours. In 1893, tricycle, pneumatic tyres, 3 days, 16 hours. And in 1895, on a tandem with T-Edge in 3 days, 4 hours and 46 minutes. All of these records are truly incredible achievements, especially when you consider the state of the roads in the 1890s and the basic heavy bikes he would have been riding. However, there is one more record that George set, and he's still the holder of that record today. That's the one that really stands out to me, because George was the fastest person ever to cycle from Land's End to John O Groats on a Penny Farthing. In 1885, when George was just 18 years old, he climbed up onto his Penny Farthing, and in just 5 days, 1 hour and 45 minutes, he rode from one end of the British Isles to the other. 900 miles in 5 days on a Penny Farthing, a record that still stands. Now, should you research this record, you will no doubt find references to the use of cocaine. But please don't be too quick to judge George and label him as a drugs cheat, as at the time, cocaine was considered little more than a stimulant. The dangers of cocaine were not fully understood, and it really was just seen as something that made you cycle a bit faster, recover, and enabled you to carry on riding. So it's worth pointing out that as late as 1910, the highly respected Captain Scott also used widely available cocaine tablets to aid him on his expedition to the South Pole. At this point, I should make it clear that I'm not attempting to break George's record, and when I get tired, I shall just reach for coffee and sticky cakes. Now, I am a keen cyclist, and I've done my fair share of racing, but I'm nowhere near the calibre of rider that George was. I've won 1 or 2 small races on modern bikes, but my real claim to fame is that in 2014, I won the British Open Penny Farthing Championship, a hotly contested race that I've been trying to win for 4 years. After achieving this long-term goal, I then decided to take on the end-to-end challenge. Now, my journey will be a challenge for me, but it really would have just been a walk in the park for George. I aim to complete the ride in 14 days, covering around 75 miles per day. The bike I'm going to ride is the bike you see here. Now, although my bike is a replica, made in the year 2000, it is in fact very similar to the bike that George would have used. It has solid tyres, a tiny spoon brake at the top of the front wheel. 54-inch front wheel, whereas George's bike was a 53. The bike has no bearings in the steering head, just a taper. It's also incredibly heavy, tips the scales at 45 pounds. The only real difference between my bike and George's would be the rear hub. Now I've built the rear hub on this bike with a dynamo, and connected to this is a device hidden away in the bag which charges my phone. So along the way I'll be able to take plenty of photos and also record my cycling journey to the website Strava to prove I've actually done it. Now the only drawback to my dynamo hub is that it does create a small amount of drag. So in fact my bike will be a tiny bit slower than George's original machine. I'm here today really to pay my respects to George, and I'm hoping that in return George will be watching down over me and bring me luck and keep me motivated when I start my journey on April the 18th, 2015. With this in mind, I'm sure George wouldn't mind if I took this small pebble with me from his grave, carried it with me for luck on my journey. Once I've completed the ride, I'll come back and I'll return the pebble to George. I'm doing the ride largely because I really want to, but I'm also taking the opportunity to raise as much money as I can for the National Deaf Children's Society. I've chosen this charity as my wife was born deaf, and the charity helped her and her family out a lot when she was younger. If anybody would like to donate to its cause and also sponsor me on my ride, that would be fantastic and greatly appreciated. Every fund that I raised will go to the NDCS. I have set up a Just Giving page online and I've already received lots of donations, both large and small. If you've donated already, I'd like to thank you for your generosity. My donations page can be found at the following web address: www.justgiving.com/Dave-Preece3. If you'd like to follow my adventure, then I will be posting photographs online to Instagram. If you search for the user Penny Dave, that's me, and you can view my photos. I will also post brief updates onto my Twitter page at DavePreece7. The final thing I'd like to do is to leave some flowers for George and his wife. I'll be thinking of you, George, on my ride, and thanks for the inspiration. Well, thank everybody for watching my short presentation. I hope you found the information about George interesting. If anybody would like to find out more about his life and his achievements, then just do a Google search for him. Some of the stories are amazing. I've only really scratched the surface here. Thanks once again for watching. All the best, Dave Preece.